In today's brief video, we're going to discuss using Zen nicotine pouches as a method of quitting vaping or quitting smoking cigarettes. Now, as a disclaimer, today's video only applies to people who already vape or who are already addicted to cigarettes. I would never recommend randomly picking up Zen and developing a nicotine pouch addiction. That would be terrible in my opinion. Now, also, I'm going to lay out today's video by providing you with 5 benefits of using Zen to quit vaping or quit smoking cigarettes. And then I'm going to provide you with 5 drawbacks or 5 negatives when it comes to using Zen to quit vaping or quit smoking. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Dr. Frank. I'm the founder of AddictionMindset recovery coaching programs. I used to be addicted to chewing tobacco, snus products, cigarettes, vape products, cannabis, binge drinking, adult media content, and stimulants. I used to abuse pre-workout and energy drinks, and now my channel is dedicated to helping people quit those things. If you enjoy our content, be sure to check out the pinned comment or the video description to learn more about our nicotine-free, cannabis-free chewing gum supplement designed to help people quit nicotine. It's nicotine-free. We're the only ones in the world who make this. Or to learn more about our free PDFs and resources when it comes to quitting these substances. Okay? So first of all, what is Zen? Zen is a flavored nicotine pouch, okay? It's a tobacco-free pouch, and it contains either 6 milligrams or 3 milligrams of nicotine per pouch. Zen is one of the fastest growing nicotine products on the market over the last several years. And that happened shortly after the company Swedish Match was purchased by its parent company, Philip Morris International, the people who own the cigarette companies, Philip Morris, okay? So Zen is a flavored nicotine pouch that delivers 6 milligrams or 3 milligrams of nicotine per pouch into your system that's owned by the cigarette manufacturer Philip Morris International, which, as I'm going to explain in a minute, is not actually a bad thing, and I'm going to explain why that is. These pouches, what you do with them is you tuck them in your lower decky or your upper decky. For those of you not familiar with the slang, your lower deck or your upper deck, you tuck the pouch in between your gum line and your teeth, and then you just kind of suck on it. This is how the nicotine and other ingredients are absorbed buccally into your gum line, the same way our chewing gum works, into your bloodstream, okay? And then you get that nicotine buzz, that hit of nicotine, that rush that people describe when they use Zen or products similar to Zen, okay? There's a bunch of brands on the market right now. Now, Zen is generally speaking regarded as a very clean product, okay? It has very minimal ingredients. It has very low or zero, it may be zero, TSNAs, tobacco-specific nitrosamines, which are things that you find in chewing tobacco products that tend to be more cancer-causing. And it's a pharmaceutical-grade nicotine, very clean. It has some artificial flavoring in it, which we'll talk about a little bit later, called ACE-K, which for some people might be a problem, especially if they have an allergy or sensitivity to ACE-K, but we'll talk about that later on. But that's Zen. 5 benefits of using Zen to quit vaping. Benefit number 1 is you're not inhaling vapor or cigarette smoke into your lungs. So although you're beating your gums, you are saving your lungs, and you're giving your lungs a chance to detox. So in theory, this would be less harmful, Zen would be less harmful in theory than vape products, certainly than cigarettes, when it comes to your respiratory and your cardiovascular systems, okay? That's benefit number 1. Benefit number 2 of Zen is that you're changing the habit. A lot of people who are addicted to smoking or vaping, they're used to that habit, blowing smoke, blowing vapor, inhaling. Switching to a product like Zen, you're now going to get used to the new habit of sucking on a little nicotine pouch and that sensation of having a pouch resting in your gum line. So you are breaking some of that habit involved, that hand-to-mouth motion that comes with smoking and vaping. Benefit number 3, and this is why I said it's actually a good thing that Zen is owned by Philip Morris International, is quality control. When it comes to a lot of vapes, especially on today's market, most of them are coming from China. There's absolutely zero quality control on a majority of the disposable vapes that people are using. There's thousands of knockoff brands available out there today. I remember when Juul was popular, Juul was in the process before they largely got shut down of suing 33 fake Chinese companies making Juuls and distributing them to US retailers all across the United States. So vaping, there's not a lot of quality control on it. Zen being made by a company like Philip Morris, who's trying to avoid lawsuits, who does have quality control measures, even though their cigarettes kill 500,000 people a year. That's a good thing, because this company, it's a billion-dollar company and they run a tight ship, unlike a lot of your vape companies. Certainly, quality control compared to cigarettes, yes, there's quality control on cigarettes, but there's so many carcinogens in cigarettes that you're not going to find in a product like Zen or a nicotine pouch. So that's another major benefit, especially with vapes, quality control. With Zen, benefit number 3 would be the amount of nicotine that you're taking in can be easily managed. Not many people know how many times a day they're hitting their vape and exactly how much nicotine they're consuming per hit off of that vape. With Zen, you could start with a 6 milligram pouch, you could taper down to a 3 milligram pouch, you could switch to a product like On nicotine pouches, which I think go all the way down to 2 milligram nicotine pouches. And you can really easily taper off of nicotine using a product like Zen. So you're saving your lungs, you're beating your gums, but you're saving your lungs, you're allowing your lungs to detox, right? You're switching the habit, you're breaking that habit of hand to mouth of a vape or a cigarette, and you're able to accurately start to taper off of the amount of nicotine that you're consuming, very similar to using a Nicorette gum or some type of nicotine replacement therapy, which Zen is not classified as that yet, to be clear. Benefit number 4, Zen is a great form of harm reduction, okay? We can certainly say this when it comes to smoking. This statement does not have an FDA stamp of approval, so let me be very, very clear. But I think most physicians, most people out there would agree, most cardiologists, pulmonologists would agree that Zen is safer than smoking. I bet even dentists would agree with that, because the top causes of oral cancer are smoking cigarettes, HPV virus, and alcohol. Cigarettes first, alcohol second, and then HPV virus, right? Zen has yet to be linked to cancers, although in theory it's not impossible to develop squamous cell carcinoma of your gums with Zen, but we're not going to discuss that right now. I've made other videos on that. But certainly a form of harm reduction to cigarettes and arguably to vapes, because a lot of these vape products, we don't fully grasp how harmful they are, but we're seeing major negative impacts on people at a very, very young age. For those that care, okay, when it comes to Zen, you also have the benefit of not disrupting those around you. So you're not spitting tobacco out, you're not blowing a vapor cloud in someone's face, so you're not interrupting the social circles of others because of your addiction. And I would argue they're probably also a lot safer for the environment for those that care. People don't know this, but with vapes and these little lithium-ion batteries that they have, you're supposed to properly dispose of these things, and no one does, right? People throw them out their car windows, they throw them into the garbage can. If you care, Zen is probably a lot safer for the environment because it's a little biodegradable pouch, okay? So those are your benefits of using Zen to quit vaping or quit smoking cigarettes. Now for the drawbacks though, because there are drawbacks. 1, you're still going to suffer the consequences of nicotine. Nicotine is a vasoconstrictor. It limits blood flow to our brains, to our bones, to our muscles. There's been studies to imply that nicotine puts strain on our liver as it goes through that detox process as we clear it out of our system day in and day out when we're using it. Nicotine, it stimulates our fight or flight response. In some people, this is going to provoke feelings of anxiety and depression and irritability, especially between uses of the product when cravings and withdrawal symptoms set in. So you're still getting all the negative side effects that come with nicotine. Whoever is out there saying, look, nicotine is just as harmless as caffeine, especially considering the massive quantities that people who use Zen or vape are consuming, right? Maybe if you were just taking in 1 milligram of nicotine per hour, maybe then it's just as harmless as caffeine. But very few people addicted are actually doing that. So they're going to experience negative consequences of nicotine use. So that's problem number one. Problem number two, you're still experiencing the side effects and consequences of addiction, which is that as long as you're addicted, you're going to be experiencing the withdrawal symptoms day in and day out between periods of use of nicotine. And this can lead to frustration, irritability, anger, cravings, fatigue, all of that negative stuff, poor sleep quality, all of those things you're still going to experience with Zen. That's drawback number two. You're still maintaining an addiction. You are still a slave to the drug. Keep in mind the very drug that you may be trying to quit, which was nicotine, which is the main drug found in vapes or cigarettes or whatever it was there. Another problem with Zen that I see when people use this method is they don't actually wind up tapering off. They actually just wind up getting addicted to Zen, and one of two things happen. They wind up zenning all day long. So like vaping, they couldn't do it inside. Well, most people will still vape inside anyways, let's be honest, but they're not supposed to. There was some limitations around vapes. With the Zen product, this is not the case. This is something that you can do 24 hours a day. It's very, very discreet. You can use it at work. You can use it on an airplane, a public space. And this is potentially one of the drawbacks, because what we're doing is we're increasing our tolerance for nicotine consumption. So that would be a drawback to Zen. Now, another potential problem that I'd see happen to people is people would start using Zen to quit vaping or quit smoking. And what they would wind up doing is using both products. They would use Zen when they can't vape or smoke, and when they weren't using Zen, they would continue to vape or smoke, which just increases our nicotine tolerance. It increases the addiction. So if you're going to use Zen to quit vaping or quit smoking, be very, very clear on your objective of either quitting vaping or quitting smoking, or eventually quitting nicotine altogether. Don't wind up putting yourself in that situation, because now you're in a worse situation than when you started, okay? That's a lot of times why I tell people, if you're trying to quit smoking or quit vaping, just quit. Don't try and complicate it by switching to Zen and then nicotine gum and then patches and this and that, because you're just risking getting addicted to a bunch of other nicotine products in the process. Do you really need nicotine to quit nicotine? That's the question. You're still spending money on the product, okay? So depending on if you're going through a tin, 2 tins, 3 tins a day, even though for a lot of people it's certainly going to be less expensive than cigarettes or vape products, you're still spending your money. And remember, it's not just the money you're spending on the canister, but that was money that you could have invested into something else. That was money that you could have used to do something else that could potentially make you more money. So it's not just the $6 here, the $6 there that you're spending. It's what could have that money gotten you. And then if eventually we do run into dental problems or health problems or things like that, then there's that cost as well. What is the cost of bad health? What is that worth to you? So you're still running into all of those potential drawbacks by using a product like Zen to quit vaping and quit smoking. That's why on our channels and our teachings, at most, we might recommend our supplement products. Of course, we're biased to them, but 99% of it is the mindset necessary to quit vaping or quit smoking. And we have a free ebook and a free 7-step guide in the pinned comment in the video description explaining how to do those things if you want to check that out, because that's 99% of quitting nicotine. All right, guys, I hope this video helps you out when it comes to quitting vaping, quitting smoking, added some clarity on Zen. The last thing that I wanted to say is Zen not only contains nicotine, and it's really rapidly absorbed into your system, which for some people could lead to symptoms of nicotine toxicity, nicotine overdose, but it's also combined with an artificial sweetener, ACE-K. Now, ACE-K is used in food flavorings, things like that, soft drinks, yes. But remember, you're eating those foods. So first, that artificial sweetener has to go through your gut and your GI system, and then you absorb what's left over. With a product like Zen, you're absorbing that directly into your bloodstream. So you have to ask yourself, what are the consequences of directly absorbing ACE-K into your bloodstream from a product like Zen. I don't know exactly. You can go online and read about the side effects of ACE-K that people experience. Perhaps some of them will apply to you, and perhaps it would be a little bit more of a motivation to not use a product like Zen or something like that. Now, if you have questions, drop them in the comments, check out our supplements, check out our free PDFs, and let me know what else you guys need on the topic of Zen. Until next time.